Hi there, my name is Peter, and in this video we're going to take you through the concept of queues. So, in one of the previous videos we showed you how to set up a workstream. We set one up for voice work for all of the incoming voices, and we talked a little bit about how things get routed to queues. There was a fallback queue defined automatically, but now we're going to set up an actual queue. So what is it that queues are? So queues are used to collect and distribute the workload among all of your human CSRs, right? So all of your representatives, they are part of one or more queues, and that is where the work ends up, right? That is where the work ends up through the work stream, the routing, and then eventually drops into a queue. Now, there are a few queues that you can set up. The advanced queues, where we can really tailor-made all of the work distribution, where we can set operating hours. Basically, this is the type of queue that you want. Now, mind, before you actually use the advanced queues, you do need to set up unified routing. So unified routing is a topic that we're going to talk about in depth a little bit later on, but it is here underneath routing, manage unified routing, and you can switch it on. So back to queues. We got the advanced queues and we got the basic queues, which is basically the old way of distributing cases, etc., to representatives. So for now, for all of your omni-channel capabilities, you want to have that advanced queues. So let's set one up. And as you can see, there's a few of the queues already in there. You can see that every queue has a type, be it messaging or a record queue or a voice queue. And you can see that we have no voice queue just yet, but the default one, right? So let's set one up. The voice queues or whatever queues, this is the way how you group all of your representatives as well, right? So I can have a queue for support, and I have a queue for billing, and I have a queue for, I don't know, installation. So let's say we want to have a queue for support. I want to say this is a voice queue, and you have a queue priority. Now, queue priorities is Microsoft's way of saying, hey, this one takes precedence over the other one, right? The lowest number comes first. That means with this way, and let's go back to queues for 1 second. With the queue priority, you can basically say, hey, if, for example, voice conversations come in, they take precedence over record-based queues. So a voice conversation has preference over a case that might come in capacity-wise, right? So if one agent is part of a voice queue and the case queue, they will get pushed the voice parts first before they end up with the cases. You can have them at the same priority, but that is all fine. And this is also how you, for example, can say, hey, I want to have support issues. They are more present than billing issues, right? So there's some fine-grained controls that you get there. So let's dive into those queues. So queues are, as I said, the way you group your users. So your CSRs have to be part of that queue. Now, again, you can say, select them here, or you can make them, you can add them in bulk through user management. Now let's add a few users here, and mind that the default queue is a queue that everyone is already a part of, right? So those CDS queues that you saw here, those are automatic, and as you can see, all agents are already part of that default queue. So this is only usable if you want to use that as a fallback queue, right? So let's get back to our queue. And we'll dive into all of these things here in later videos. But this is the way that stuff comes in. So again, we have a work stream. In that work stream, we have work classification, right? You have the channel where it comes in. You have routing rules that define and tag on all sorts of context onto a conversation. And then we have a route to queue, right? So here you can set up your rules. And again, routing is a whole different chapter. Route those queues, route those conversations to the queue that you want. And in this case, I'm just going to say, hey, I want all of the stuff that comes in here, I want that to connect to my support queue, right? Again, I would not choose that as a fallback per se. I would rather have a route that sets that up, but you get the gist.